Hey everybody, welcome to Pop Culture Philosophers. I'm Rockin' Robbie Billups, and today it's time for a Comics Revisited. Today we're talking about Scarlet Spider, Venom The Exile Returns. That's right everybody, welcome to Pop Culture Philosophers, Comics Revisited. Today we're talking about Scarlet Spider, Venom The Exile Returns. Me and Brooks, we've been going through these Venom comics lately. In order to get to separation anxiety, it's kind of an essential storyline to hit Web of Spider-Man 118 and 119, and Spider-Man like what, 52, 53, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
It was basically the first appearance of the Scarlet Spider proper, but it was also the next part of the saga of Venom that led right into separation anxiety. I'm Rockin' Robbie Billups, and this is
Brooks.
The Magnificent, and magnificent you are for checking out the video in this story. So, Venom's been in San Francisco, right?
Yeah.
He returns to New York because Carnage has just escaped. This is post-Maximum Carnage. Carnage is out again. Venom says, I'm responsible. And just like Spider-Man did in Lethal Protector, Venom treks back across the coast to go and keep an eye on Carnage. Meanwhile, we got the Clone Saga going on. That's right, Spider-Man did this Clone Saga thing. His original clone that the Jackal created back in, what was that, the 70s?
Yeah.
Something like that. They decided it'd be a fun idea to bring that clone back. And at this point in the story, the Clone Saga was still very, very new. Very fresh, right? And I loved these issues. I loved Ben Reilly. He's picked up a new name for himself, the Clone. He's Ben Reilly, named after Uncle Ben and Aunt May's maiden name. Aunt May is in the hospital, so he comes back to New York. So you got this cool thing in the theme with the Exile Returns. You got Scarlet Spider, Ben Reilly, the Clone, and Eddie Brock Venom, the rejected villain from Spider-Man, returning to New York City. Both of them all together, right? So Venom returns, corresponds with the Clone being there. He wants to leave. He's struggling to figure out what his identity is. Where does he lie? He doesn't want to be there. This is Peter's territory. But everything he sees, he runs into Betty Brant. He feels this like pine of nostalgia, right? But these aren't my memories. So he's going through all this stuff. I think it's really, really good, the stuff that he's going through in his head. I believe that this is written by Terry Kavanaugh and Howard Mackey. I think it was Howard Mackey who was doing Spider-Man at the time. But as I look that up, what I'm going to be talking about is that, so Spider-Man is trying to figure out, or Scarlet Spider's trying to figure out, yeah, Howard Mackey. Tom Lyle and Stephen Butler doing the artwork, by the way. He's trying to figure out his place. And in that first issue is where he dubs him, he finds that Scarlet Spider costume. He finds the hoodie,
Yeah.
right? So he hears that Venom's back in town, and he's like, I can't believe Spider-Man's never stopped Venom. I'm going to do it. Before he does that, though, he actually saves this woman who's about to, like, leap off of a building or something.
Yeah.
Off of a bridge. Something like that. And he's like, I can't not be the hero. Double negatives involved and all that stuff. And that's why Venom's after him. He doesn't like bad grammar. No?
Yeah.
Anyway, so basically what happens at that point forward is that Scarlet Spider's now here. There's this reporter that's going around trying to get the scoop. He dubs him the Scarlet Spider. Eventually he shows up in Separation Anxiety. Howard Mackey continues to use this character. So Scarlet Spider's trying to do his thing. He comes across Venom. Venom F's him up. Venom slashes him across the stomach right there. He's bleeding, oozing out. Then all of a sudden, Scream shows up. Scream, who doesn't get named till way later.
Yeah.
But it was one of the first female symbiote that we ever saw in Venom Lethal Protector. We thought she was dead. She's still alive. She says the others are still alive too, and we just need your help to figure out how to control these symbiotes because they're controlling us. Venom doesn't want nothing of it. Venom just wants to kill her, right? Yeah. Scarlet Spider dips out. Venom fights Scream, and basically, long story shorter, Scarlet Spider comes back and defeats the heck out of Venom. And he defeats him this way. He realizes that the symbiote is over Eddie Brock. So Scarlet Spider had way cooler things like the sting and the impact webbing. So he hit him with all this impact webbing in Venom's mouth between the symbiote and Eddie. So when it blows up, it blows the symbiote off of him. With Eddie's skin exposed, he hits him with one of his Venom stinger things, right? Mm. Ben Reilly, Otto Octavius, Miles Morales, all these people smarter Spider-Mans, better Spider-Mans than Peter Parker ever dreamed of being, in my opinion.
I mean, he's getting better.
He is getting better, but still, he lost all that too, right?
Yeah.
So then, ultimately, Scarlet Spider separates Venom from the symbiote. defeats Eddie Brock, and then the guardsmen come in and they arrest Eddie Brock and they take the symbiote. But before that, the symbiote tries to bond with Ben, and Ben rejects it. He does something even Spider-Man couldn't.
And the rejection, like, causes him to causes the symbiote to faint.
Yeah. Oh, too much.
Oh, I can't believe it. What was
Anyway, that's the story in a nutshell. I really do like this story. I think it's great. We were talking about the artists. Stephen Butler, who's going to be at the Huntsville Comic and Pop Culture Expo in March of 2019. Very exciting. I love the redesign on Scarlet Spider. This isn't really... We've been really covering Venom stuff lately. So this is more of a Scarlet Spider story. It just so happens that this stuff that happens in here is essential because when separation anxiety starts, and we'll talk about that next week, Venom's arrested. He's been separated from the symbiote. Scream and the other symbiotes are still alive. What? If you didn't read this, you would have missed all that. You wouldn't have gotten it, right?
Yeah.
So we were talking about last week how Knights of Vengeance kind of started... That's where people started waning their interest on Venom.
Yeah.
Well, bring him into the Clone Saga. Make him a villainous creature again. Have Scarlet Spider, since you want to build up Ben Reilly to be something big, a big deal, have him do the one thing that Peter couldn't really do. Definitively take out Venom. Like that. With impact webbing. How cool was Scarlet Spider for you back in the day? Because to me, loved it.
I didn't read Spider-Man at the time when the Clone Saga was happening.
Okay.
I'd read some Spider-Man before then, but I'd never, regularly read the book.
Well, having read it now, recently, what do you think?
I think Ben Reilly looks like a decent Spider-Man.
I love that suit, man.
He's definitely got the pathos going.
Yes, he does.
Like, I'm just a clone. I'm a fake.
As if you could get more self-defeating than Peter Parker. Ben Reilly pulls it off, in my opinion. I love the costume. I always loved it. I thought that hoodie was a nice touch. Basically, it's just a red suit underneath that.
Yeah.
It's like just one of those red bodysuits.
Like a red onesie.
Yeah. But I love the way he comes after Venom. The artwork. Stephen Butler does a great job of designing that costume. Tom Lyle, who did the artwork on Venom Funeral Pyre, is the artist in the Spider-Man sections of this book. Love his Venom. Love it so much. That's his Venom right there, dude. Doesn't that look like Funeral Pyre? Love his tongue. Love his Venom. I love the artwork. I think the story's great. We had some good Venom series, right? I think we've been talking about these for the last few weeks. Lethal Protector, we love. Funeral Pyre is pretty decent. Madness gets a little weak. Enemy Within's pretty bad. But not as bad as Knights of Vengeance. But the Mace was in between those two, and it was pretty decent. But this is a nice comeback from that. Really intriguing stuff. Mostly about Ben Reilly, but it's still a great part of the Venom story that leads you right into it. It's included in the Separation Anxiety trade paperback that's available at a link down below where you can help support the channel as well and get it at a great price on Amazon. But ultimately, I love this story. It is more of a Ben Reilly story. It made me want to read more of the Clone Saga. And maybe at some point in 2019, we'll do some Clone Saga stuff, Brooks. Maybe. Will you be down for that?
Yeah.
I don't know if we should subject ourselves to the Clone Saga. Because it starts off good.
Yeah.
Just like the Exile Returns. But it gets a little out there. Doesn't it?
Yeah, but so is Venom here.
You're right. If we're doing Venom, we might as well do Scarlet Spider. So maybe one day we'll do some Clone Saga type stuff. I'm sure you guys would like to see us revisit that. I want to know what your recollections of the Clone Saga, of this Exile Return story, of the first appearance of Scarlet Spider, his battle with Venom. What did you think about it then? What do you think about it now? We like it. I think we like it. You would recommend this?
Yeah.
Would you recommend this to just a Venom fan, to a Spider-Man fan, to a comic book fan, or all three?
Yeah, like anybody.
Anybody. It's great because it's a great story. Yeah. Really fun stuff. Really good stuff. And important in the history, especially with Scarlet Spider and Venom, because it sets up the return of Scream and the return of the other symbiotes, Lasher, Riot, and the other two that we can never remember the names of. But we'll be talking about those next week. Separation Anxiety. It's going to be the last Venom book we do for a while. Will be Separation Anxiety. We've just been kind of Venom out. Especially that movie and everything. But we want to get to some good comics here on Comics Revisited. Some things more differing from Venom. But next week, Separation Anxiety. Very excited to be talking with Brooks about that one. Be sure to join us. Let us know what you think about this one in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for checking us out. And do follow me on Twitter at @TheRockinRobbie and the show itself at The PCP Show over on Twitter. Thank you guys so much for rocking with us. I'm Rockin' Robbie Billups. This is
Brooks.
And umbrellas.